Hey everyone, welcome back. Well, we got everything mowed down in this top garden, cover crop on, and we ran out of daylight. And so I'm up here next day planting our garlic. We prepared the bed, and I think I explained to you guys earlier that when our sweet potatoes come out, garlic goes in. And so we harvest our sweet potatoes here in 6B at like mid-October every year, sometimes earlier depending on the weather. We look ahead at the forecast and we determine if we're gonna have a string of warm sunny days for our sweet potatoes to cure. But now that we have the greenhouse, we put them in there and we really don't have to worry about it a whole lot because they cure really nicely in there. So now that this bed is pretty well raked over, pretty even, I'm gonna hoe some rows and I'm gonna plant our garlic. I'll leave the links to the variety that we grow below, but this is a German white. This is a pretty hardy, hard neck variety. It gets very large cloves. I think the whole bulb is about 2 inches, maybe even bigger sometimes. And then a Chesnook red. As you can see, it's like a purple striped garlic. This is a really mild garlic, another hard neck variety. So both great storage varieties, and they do really well in our zone 6B here in Pennsylvania. So when you are planting garlic, we already broke all of them apart except for this one. You want to break your cloves apart. Okay, so you want to just get in there, crack them open. Sometimes they're a little tough. And I'll link some of my other garlic videos below to show you how we harvest and store them. There we go. Okay. Actually, I lie. This might be a Chesnook red because, as you can see, purple striped inner flesh. So this one fooled me. But we have the German white and the Chesnook red. Both varieties I actually purchased this year from a local grower because I really didn't grow a whole lot like I wanted to, and I'm already going through a ton of our garlic and I'm planting a lot extra this year. I think I had 16 bulbs, 16 times, I think there's usually 6 to 8 cloves. You do the math. I'm gonna have a lot of garlic next year. But we do that because we like to have some for storing, and then we also like to have some that we save for seed. And so this year I had to start fresh and buy seed, which was good because now I know the variety that I have, because prior to that we were just reusing our seed over and over and I had no clue what variety we had. And when people would ask, I'd be like, I don't even know. And so you break all these apart and you really want to keep that skin on, that paper skin on, because that's going to protect it as it stays in the ground over winter. Now this side, it did come off. I'm still gonna plant it. You also want to make sure that it has some root bottom at the end, because this goes in the ground. It goes in just like this. And so garlic is a bulb, and just like every other bulb, you plant them in the fall. And then they're gonna start to sprout. You might even see some little green shoots coming up. That's okay. As it frosts, as it snows, it's gonna go into a dormant stage. It's called cold stratification. And that's gonna just then allow the bulb in the spring to emerge and grow, or that clove to emerge and grow in the spring. And then you'll get a nice big nice big bulb in the spring. I'm tripping over my words. And then you harvest the scapes in June. Here for us it's in June, early June, and then we wait another about 30 days till all the leaves die off, and we harvest in July. For us it's usually around July 4th. So I have a lot of work to do, and I'm going to show you how we plant these. We keep them about 3 inches apart, 3 to 6 inches apart, and I like to stagger them. Okay, so I'll have 3 rows going down through this bed, which is about 3 foot by 15 foot, and it's really worked soil. So again, the sweet potatoes came out, which is a really long tuber, and then which broke up the ground, so it's going to give a nice soil for these garlic cloves to just take root and have room to grow and not be in like really hard rocky soil. So I'm going to make 3 rows, and then we'll just stagger them about 3 to 6 inches apart. So just some things I'm thinking of as I'm going through the process. Number one, do not just buy your seed at the grocery store. Don't go to the grocery store and buy some bulbs of garlic. Those are most likely from China, imported to a company that puts their label on it. It goes through a radiation process, and so you don't want to deal with that. That won't grow. And if it does, it's not going to be nice big bulbs of garlic. You want to find a really good reputable company. Johnny Seeds is one, or find a farmer in your area. I'm finding in our area there are a lot more local growers, and they're selling their extra at farm stands, markets, and ask them, say, hey, did you grow this in your garden, in your fields? If they said yes, you can absolutely use that. You can ask if they used any chemicals, any sprays on the plants or in their soil. So ask those questions. But if they are a no spray, no chemical farmer, then absolutely you can use those bulbs, take them home, break them apart. Make sure you ask them the variety. If they don't know, that's okay too. It grows well, it's consumable, and it's something that you can eat. The second thing you may be asking me, if I don't address it here, is, well, how deep do you dig the furrows? I like to go about an inch, most likely like 2 inches deep, really tuck them in, cover them up, and then you'll want to put some compost on top too. Some dried leaves, maybe some dried grass clippings. I'm going to add some wood shavings from the chicken coop that have been sitting and drying. There's probably some rabbit manure in there as well. I'm going to layer all that on top, maybe even some wood chips. That way they're tucked in for winter and they'll start growing, but you really want them to be tucked in. And especially for us, sometimes we even take those sweet potato vines. Now, we fed them all to the pigs, and I'm thinking, why did I do that? Because normally we put that all on top, because our chickens, we have some that they're escape artists, and they get out of the coop and they come right up to this garden and they love to scratch at the garlic. And so I want to keep that as tucked in as possible. And so even if you have old vines, from sweet potato branches, anything that's coming out of your garden, just put right back on top, okay? It's just going to compost back into that soil and add nutrients as the garlic grows. And the last tip, the bottom part, that fat part with the root structure, some of these are really cleaned very well, but you'll notice that there's some little tiny roots on the bottom, or where the roots would be. That root structure goes into the soil, makes contact with the soil, the little skinny tip points to the sky. So it goes into the ground just like this. That's it. This garden is put to bed. Wait a minute. I still have white potatoes to take out. Once those potatoes are out, we're done. This garden is ready for a long winter's rest. The garlic is all tucked in, nice and snug, under soil, under compost. We may add another layer of compost as we clean out rabbit cages and chicken coops. It doesn't hurt it. It'll actually do it very well. So happy planting, happy fall gardening as you put your gardens to bed, as you tuck in your garlic. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. If you have more questions about garlic, about fall gardening, please put those below. Blessings to you all, and we'll see you back another day.